Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on Canva, how to use it to build your website and for social media marketing. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'll be your host today, and our presenter is Bud Freund. More on Bud in just a minute. First, some brief info on SCORE. We're the nonprofit national partner of the Small Business Administration. SCORE has three primary evaluated services for small business owners. First, free one-on-one counseling. Second, educational workshops and webinars. Third, extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject matter experts at your disposal. Our next live webinar is Wednesday, June 19th at noon. The topic is being a virtual assistant for you, with Belinda Sandor presenting. Look for the specifics on fairfieldcounty.score.org website. We also have a large number of recorded webinars on our website that cover a wide range of business topics. Those can be viewed at any time by clicking on On-Demand Webinars. Some useful info about today's event. We have set aside time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please use the Q&A button at any time during the presentation. It is located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end sharply at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at our website within the next day or so. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Bud Freund. Bud has been self-employed for over 40 years and has been providing IT solutions to homes and small businesses for over 20 years. During that time, he has taught Photoshop to the Foxwoods Graphics Department, technology life skills at King's School, and managed the Bicultural Hebrew Academy Network. As a certified SCORE mentor, he regularly presents technology webinars and in-person workshops at libraries throughout Fairfield County. I'll now turn it over to you, Bud. Bud, it's all yours.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you all for joining us today. Wanted to start with a quick fix that needed to be done in Canva, which, checking earlier, I had gotten this PowerPoint. It was imported into Canva as the SCORE PowerPoint. Let me get back to my preso here. But as you can see, it comes in with this, whoop, wrong one, this rectangle right over here, which we make that go away. Our SCORE logo is always supposed to be a white background, so we're going to make that go away. And the other thing is that this piece of white needs to pull over so that it's all the way across. Pretty quick fixes. Anyway, we won't go through the second exercise. So these are the items I'm going to be talking about, and I keep this presentation deliberately in build mode for two reasons. The first one is that you're going to want to see how this works underneath the hood. And secondly, I built a Canva preso to go as a Zoom shared screen, and it blew up horribly. So I brought it back into the build mode, seemed to work fine, made me gun shy, so here we are. Anyway, from our list of items that we're going to talk about, first place I want to get to is this collection of bit.ly links. And if you're not familiar with bit.lys, they're a way of taking enormously long URLs that are something else and making them shorter so that people can remember them. Now, the capital letters and the lowercase letters are very important, or you won't get to where you want to go. The other thing that's important to understand about bit.ly is this little plus sign that I've put down over here. If you type in a bit.ly URL and add a plus sign to the back end of it, it will not take you directly to the website. It will tell you where you're going to go, which is a safeguard with the amount of incredible garbage that's online. Similar in point, Nobody on the planet Earth can read a QR code directly. Well, if they could, they'd be very impressive, but they need a phone, and you have no idea of where this QR code is going to take you either. So, with that in mind, proceed cautiously when you go somewhere. Now, as for the under the hood, as you can see, this has an effect to it, which we can click over to here, and the effect is called splice. I make note on this for two reasons. First of all, you'll be able to come back to this recording, but more importantly is if you are a Canva user and you don't write this stuff down, it lives inside of your Canva subscription. As long as you can track down where you put it, you can redo it. You'll find that information again. One other item I wanted to fix while we were here is that this was just far too long. So we're going to shorten this down. We're going to move this over. And this guy doesn't line up just right. And now you can faintly see the dotted line from the letter B to the bottom of the HTTPS. And one other item while we're here, this little rewrite edit tool will allow you to put in your link up here, whatever it might be. And I think I mentioned earlier, all of these bit.ly links are going to Instagram pages. There's fabulous information in Instagram. All of these people have done a far better job than I'm going to do in the short amount of time, and they cover each of these topics really well. Now, you can also display this either as a link, or it will show up as the Instagram page, which doesn't look particularly good. So let's take that out of here, go back to link. There you are. It's in black now. That's not a good color choice. Let's go back to change the color. Change the color. Now we're set here. Next item. Sometimes all of these things, and I am holding the shift key to do single clicks. It'll be right there. Now you've gathered all of these items. I would like to be sure that they are spaced evenly vertically, and now they're all set into place. If I wanted to crowbar this backgrounds in there as well, oh, also this is far too large a font size. We're over here, we're at 32 point. We come back over to here, we'll go back from 46 to 32, and now it's the same size as everything else. Okay, going back to our safety item over here of the bit.ly plus. Earlier today, I was tinkering here and can't decide if I like my text this way or this way. But what I can tell you is that unless you go into position and you go over to layers and you take your text and you put it on top of the graphic, you're not going to be able to get into the editing. And then when you're done, you'll need to go back into position and you would need to bring it back down. So that was another item I wanted to show you about layers. Oh, this was also something I found really interesting. Again, let's go into layers because the background is from inside of Canva. I've mentioned on the previous two Canva webinars that there is just more stuff than you will know what to do with in Canva. People share like crazy. So what's going on here? Well, I've got layers above my background, and I'm going to make sure that my background is the bottom layer so all of my stuff shows up. Now, I'm still not showing all my stuff because this layer of text, which you can see the outline, needs to be above the graphic. So what's puppetry? Don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not, but from inside of the apps, you can search for Canva apps, one of which is puppetry. which will allow you to create a person, thing, whatever you want. It will do the talking for you. Canva's a little finicky sometimes, so I'm not going to hit play, because if the audio takes away from me and goes into the computer, that's all it's got to say. So I'm just going to move on and talk about our next slide over here. So I think we were going to talk about fonts. Wanted you to have some font information here. And now let's move actually into our friend from Happy Days, the Fonz, talking about the multitude of fonts that you can have. And what's interesting about fonts is that the 4 rules of thumb. First one is that for on-screen stuff, sans serif, just plain blocky letters, works really, really well. On paper, serifed fonts, the little extra lines, they look better on paper. Why is that? I don't know. It's time-honored stuff that graphic designers have been passing on for ages. What I can tell you is more important is that there are some fonts, like Engraver's Old English, that are kind of sort of illegible. And there are other fonts that are very legible. And there are fonts that will look like you've done finger paint. And if you want to see if there's an alternative to the finger paint, you can go in, see what other choices have been done before, or you can type in words like distressed, and it will give you a collection of fonts to choose from. It's a powerful program here. So let's move on to our next item, which again, I do a lot of my trolling on Instagram, where people are recommending these set groups. And as I mentioned with Bitly's, the upper and lower case is very important. With these sets, that will be the same case as well. Anything with a 0 is a very narrow oval, as opposed to the letter O, which is wide. And it's a really nice collection. So we'll do a quick copy. We'll go into Elements. We'll come over here. We'll paste it, hit Enter, and lots of stuff to choose from. More stuff than you should have as options, quite frankly, because after a while, you'll get so lost in it, you don't get the job done. But wait, there's more. This was another app that you can find. And somebody, was it an app? Let's see. That may be Elements as well. Let's go back to Elements and take a quick look. See. Clear that one out, put that in, Command V, paste. Nope. Let's see if it's under apps. And there it is. Okay. So again, another app where you can build whatever stuff you would like to build. And as I mentioned earlier, because there are so many things going on, once you've gotten a graphic, a font, whatever you'd like to call it, whatever element you would like, into your Canva account, you can access it again, provided you remember where you put it. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So writing it down or having it accessible, very important for future stuff. This was another really cool app, which will allow you to sort of embed text into an image. And they do look kind of sort of like you embedded it when you get up close. But we were going to talk for the most part about marketing, animation, websites, and the online stuff. So one other item I want to make note of here in the embed capability is that this website that I've built here, I can embed into another Canva. So stuff can be grossly interrelated. build a presentation for an aspect of your business, embed it into the larger, this is our company setting. So let's move over to this actual website. And in order to find it, I went into templates and I wrote down websites, went looking, and now this is what it looked like originally. And I took from here and turned it into a website for us to look at and talk about. And if it gets broken up, so be it, not a problem. In any event, more importantly, when Canva builds a website, it is not building unique and different pages. What Canva's actually doing is creating one long scrolling page, which are then separated by something in ancient HTML land known as anchors. So you build a page, it's a specific size. You go to the next page, it would be a specific size. The next page, specific size, and so on. I have a very touchy mouse here. So they gave me this as a place to start. So I took things out, I moved things around. I liked the idea of the boxes because I wanted to explain that the boxes, once they become a live website, we'll get to the publish website live part in just a moment, but once they're a live website, these are hot links which will move to the anchors on the various pages. So I found my characters, and in the characters, because everything is built in Canva land here, you're able to change it from a black illustration to a white illustration and add in your text, provide wherever you want these links to go. We'll talk about the animated GIF in just a moment. And then build your second page. Had several people take a look at it and say, you know, if you have that guy pounding his head in the corner, it's going to be really distracting. You may want to make that go away. So we were able to do that. Anyway, as you move your way down, you can start to add information in various places. Here we are. If you want to pull apart a GIF, you've got something like this. These are all GIFs, by the way. And all you wanted is one frame of any of these items. You go to easygif.com, you upload this thing, and one of the buttons is going to say split. And split will take this thing apart and will download for you a zip file, ZIP, zip file, inside of which will be the various pieces of your GIF. So as you build this thing, put whatever information in that you want in whatever various places. What's also nice to note is that you can make a hot link on your email, but understand that in this particular situation, this text is all together, and in Canva speak, Canva think, whatever you'd like to call it, it's considering the full block of text as your hot link. So while I've got my mailing address here, and I want the hot link to be just this piece over here, Canva is thinking in terms of the entire component. So if you want an item to just stand alone, you can do that too and make it a separate item. And as we've seen before, It's very easy in Canva to take pieces out or put them back in again, and you can get your spacings similar. And we've worked our way through the building of the website. Now, in the sharing side of this, what's really nice to do is either one of two things. You can either publish this as a website, in which case it's out there and it's actually living inside of Canva land, but it's a link that is out there and available. Or if you just don't want it to be out there, quote unquote, but you would like to be able to show it to people, excuse me, but you'd like to be, excuse me, you would like to be able to show it to people, you can create a public link, which you can then copy and paste to provide other people with the ability to view the website. What's the difference between this public view link and this link? In this link, you can allow other people to also work on the document. So proceed cautiously when you start sharing that. Also, again, in Canva speak, as you start to share things with people, if they are already Canva users, they are going to be able to come in under that Canva umbrella. Whereas if you are not a Canva user, somebody is either going to ask me to ante up for a new person on my team, or they're going to explain to this non-Canva user that they need to sign up and be able to come in and have access. So we've moved our way through our website, and as I said earlier, let's clear this out just so that we have search websites. So if you are a consulting firm, there's a lot of choices here. And another differentiator to make note of, that little crown with the pro version of Canva costs $160 per year. And it is a fabulously worthwhile investment. We will get to another of the reasons why, other than the image editing, the design creation. Going to show you this resize and magic switch in just a bit. But a lot of value added, additional graphics added. In this case, you get a 5-page website already pretty much pre-built. Replace your stuff with where they've put it. This one is a video of some sort. You can see from the double lines. Here's a 6-pager. You work your way through and get your ideas from here. You can get lost in ideas from here. So let's close that out. Going to go into, I want to start talking about these animated GIFs, which I'm a very big fan of for posting, because we're a visual society and we like to see things in motion. So an ad without animation to it, they show, but GIFs are a normal file type that can be uploaded into Instagram, Facebook, Nextdoor, and that NXS is my code for Nextdoor, because the Nextdoor square that they would like for images is a different size than the square that you would use for Instagram. And we'll go into the resize and magic switch now just to kind of drive the point home. Instagram Reels going to be a long rectangle. Instagram, LinkedIn post, 1200 by 1200. This one is 774 by 774. So I could take this and change it into this and watch everything grow. I strongly recommend that before you do something like changing a particular item, I'm very old-fashioned in this regard. I would much rather go back to my collection of stuff, go into those three dots and make a copy and blow up my copy. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep the other one in my back pocket. So now that we've got a copy, let's go into resize and let's change it to a LinkedIn post. And you can they're claiming you can copy and resize and make that copy. Now that we've already made the copy, let's just resize this design. Lo and behold, now it's a little larger. Now, give me a moment to move a couple of these panels around. Okay, so, here we are. Okay, I had to go digging. Right now, the way that Canva is set up for me is that if I want to work on each of the pages, I would have to scroll through each one of them. However, and I mentioned my particularly finicky mouse here, there's this tiny little caret down here that, what's that for? Well, what it's for is to show you all of your pages, which I find to be very useful. So let me move my other panels around now so that I can get stuff out of the way. All right. So I've opened up a couple of these things because I started to gather bits and pieces, which is why I call it an aggregate. I find things along the way and I copy them and paste them into a place so I can find them a little more easily. I think I mentioned earlier, there's so much stuff on Canva that if you don't ask for it just right, you don't get it. So I've gathered up a few things. Be careful where you click. Those three dots pulls up a toolbar. Start to add in bits and pieces, all of which can move. By the way, if you like the font, that's the name of it over there. Move on to our next item here. We can close that. I think we started here. We're going to close out of that. So we can close this one. We've been there before. We've seen that one. We can keep that open to go back to it. Okay. So here I've got, when I don't click on my three dots, that's what I wanted to end up with. I want to explain building gifs in Canva because this is really one of its fabulous value adds. And the way I would recommend building your gifs is that finish it first. Put all of your ideas down so that you can look at this as a finished product. Got my guy, got my little animated laughing fella, got my talk bubble, got my text, got my logo split into two pieces. So all of these elements, oh, and yeah, him too. So all these elements are movable. And if you don't like where you moved it, you can either arrow back or you can Control Z. Both of them work. In any event, I've built this whole thing, and let's count the elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. Okay? Lo and behold, here are 7 of my pages. Why? Well, number 7's got everything. Make a duplicate of it. Then delete signature. then delete the next one, then delete the next one. Boy, watch out for those dots, they're dangerous. Then delete the next one, delete the next one, and it starts there. And in the world of animated GIFs, they loop. So it just keeps looping repetitively. Now, I've had one interesting thing occur with GIFs that I have built in Canva. And that is, I have created the GIF, go to share, I'm going to download it. I don't want it as a video, and it makes a very nice small video. I want it to be, oh, excuse me, I've got boxes all over the screen here. I want it to be a GIF. And I can alter my sizes. I could download all of the pages or just one of the pages. And when I get my GIF, sometimes I have tried to send it by iMessage and it hiccups. Don't know why, but it does. However, it doesn't hiccup if you create a public view link, copy it, and paste that into your iMessage. And now the animated GIF that somebody would be looking at is through an online, and you have also regulated who has access to it. And when you're done, you can delete it, and now it's all yours again. We'll look at we've looked at him already. Let's look at him. All right. So here's one where I've got it fully built. And since we've got the time, let's count our elements and let's do a subtractive process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Duplicate. Now, you can hit your thumb with a hammer and do this multiple times, or you can click on your grid view, hold the Shift key to click the two of them, copy them, paste them, copy them, paste them, and now you've got your 8. And now we know that's our last one. So to do subtractive, go to here, take that out. Go to here, take that out, take that out. Go to here, 1, 2, 3. Now I think Command Z, we'll put that one back. We'll take that one out. So now we go to here, delete, 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 delete. Now we go to here. Is everybody following this? It's the manual process, but when it's done, oh, all right. See if we can grab a bunch of these and delete them like that. We're going to keep that one. We make this one go away. We make that one go away. Okay. Now you can set your timing. And you can apply it to all of the pages. And you can make it go much faster or not that much faster. Moving a little slow, I think. So we'll take this, and from 4 seconds, we'll bring it down to 1. We'll take this one, we'll take it from 4 seconds and bring it down to 1. We'll take this one, take it from 4 seconds and bring it down to 2. Bring that one down to 2. So let's see how we're doing now. And you get the general idea. It's moving slower. All right, so we've done that fella. Let's move on to here. And what do we have here? This was the big build. And I'll walk you through it because basically at that point in the middle, it was recreated and split in 2 directions. So basically you start here. We're going frame by frame. And on the export to GIF, it just becomes a running loop. Again, another example. Have your builds. And part of what I also wanted to suggest to you is that if you're creating a style, have a bunch of them, because a single ad in today's world of technology is not going to be particularly impactful. With that, let me go back to my prezo here. We've in this slide, and we come over here. And a lot of people firmly believe that they can do this stuff themselves. And there is a lot of it that you can. But it's important to also understand that there's a value to your time, whether you spend it trying to get the perfect font for your presentation or the perfect picture that's going to explain your message. Your time has value. So sometimes that value is doing the work you do. Other times that value is to make the ads. Another item to keep in mind, and again, I've built this, as I mentioned, so you can come back to check these things. Really good collection of words and texts. Recently, I did a presentation for our SCORE chapter, and I say this cautionary note about websites and online advertising because that's really big numbers. And just because you build it doesn't mean there'll be people looking at it. You've got to also figure out the ways to drive traffic to your message. So, Tim, I see there's a lot of questions. So we have gotten to that point in time where I can now say to you, we can see if anybody wants to stump the professor. What you got, Tim?
Okay, I think a big question on it's been addressed is thrown out there is, people have set up a website on a GoDaddy years ago. They know they have to upgrade it, but they don't want to spend thousands of dollars paying somebody to recreate their website. I guess how does this work? I mean, they can use Canva to put more animation, more interesting stuff in their website? And how does that work? You do it in
Okay.
Canva and then upload it to GoDaddy, or what's the mechanics, I guess?
All right. Couple of mechanics going on there. And great question. If you are building in WordPress, it is not a Canva website. If you are building in Wix, it is not a Canva website. If you are building in Canva, you are building a Canva website. And in the building of the Canva website, like everything else on the internet, it will get a unique address. Canva.com/Budley's Canva presentation. And once you have that unique website, you don't need to move it from Canva. You can keep it living in Canva land, just like I've done these bit.lys. You can build a bit.ly and build a website here inside of Canva. The export of it, um, not sure you're going to see as professional a result as you will if you start inside of WordPress and build it inside of WordPress. As I mentioned really early on in this whole thing, when you start moving stuff out of one environment and into another environment, things don't always work as well as you would like them to. So if you start building in Canva, I would recommend you stay in Canva. I wouldn't move it somewhere else. But as I mentioned, bit.ly will allow you to have a free account. You can create a really short URL for whatever it is, provided nobody else has built it there in bit.ly. And you can get people to this website. The issue isn't going to be the website itself as much as the driving of traffic to the website, which is not something that Canva does. Canva allows you to build the content that you can use to drive traffic to your website. Does that make sense?
I think so. Kind of a follow-up question. You mentioned the cost on the software was $160 a year. Does that cover the website cost per month that people
There's
pay?
no website cost per month. As part of your $160 a year, they give you a terabyte of storage. And a lot of these elements are very small. So until you start uploading some really hefty videos, you're not going to be taking up a lot of that 1 terabyte of canvas space. And that there's no additional cost on the website that you build inside of Canva because Canva is hosting the website that you build. Is it a competition to WordPress? In some respects, yes. Is it a competition to Wix? In some respects, yes. If you have purchased a domain name, which is the other part of your GoDaddy question, uh, budleycanvaprezos.com. I own budleycanvaprezos.com. It has to go somewhere. What I can do at the GoDaddy side of things is to say, I own budleycanvaprezos.com, and I want it to point to, on here, oops, uh, that's good. And I want it to point to this URL. And start over. Once you have a name that you own, you can tell GoDaddy where to find it. And that's about the easiest explanation between the domain name and the what it's going to go looking for.
Okay, so I think you've answered this, but Ed was asking, does this mean that if a site is built on Canva and hosted there, are you stuck with the Canva URL?
Yes and no. Uh, yes, you get a Canva URL, just like if you were inside of WordPress, you would have a WordPress URL. However, you can hide that Canva URL by either creating a bit.ly, which has a unique name, or by purchasing a domain name and at the back end of GoDaddy, telling that domain name that you own to point to whatever your Canva website might be.
Got it. Someone was asking what the infinity symbols when you're making the video slides. What are those? The infinity symbols?
Oh, the spaces in between the, let's get to one of those. Hang on. We'll go to here, we'll go to here. I think the ones they were talking about. Oh, let's see if we can do that. And now, can I get to duration? Nope, I'm sorry, I gotta do this differently. Uh, Close that. I think the numbers that they're talking about are, I'm sorry, can they clarify? I thought the infinities were in between each of these
When making,
animations.
it just said when making the video slides, what are those infinity symbols when you're making the video slides? I don't see video. I actually don't see the infinity symbol either.
Okay,
Okay.
there are some indicators in between, but okay, why don't we move on? Sorry about that.
Yep. Okay. Very good. One person was wondering if you were familiar with Pexel, which I guess which they consider a better product than Canva.
I am not. Here's the thing about software, and again, everybody is different in this regard. Um, I started in Photoshop 2. There's now Infinity software on the iPad. There's GIMP if you want to get a free Photoshop app. There's Canva, which now does some image editing. Um, Pexel probably does very similar to what Canva does. The point is, if you want to spend time relearning how to do the work, fine. But if the idea is to get the work done, find an app that you can use, that you're comfortable with, that are familiar with, so you can go on, do your work, and go on to the next thing.
Right. Okay. How they want to know, can you have a blog roll on Canva?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it would not be something that is automated, but if you, the building of a blog, I can't answer two other, it wouldn't be an interactive blog. Let's start there. Blog, as far as I'm typing to present information, sure, you can build your web pages to have all of that text going on it. It may require you to cut your text to fit onto these pages because they are a fixed size, or you may have to adjust the size of the font that you're using in the text block. I'm not sure that you would find Canva to be the best medium to use for a block.
Right. Yeah. One person is asking, is there a way to instantly put 4 elements into each corner or to align elements with one click?
Oh, yeah. Uh, so, well, let's put this fella here. So I'm going to click my top one. I hold my shift key. I click my middle one. I click my bottom one, go into position. And now the alignments can be all centered. All of them are sitting underneath. Didn't want to do that. Didn't really want to do that either. So your arrow key will move you back and forth through those. And then you can group them. So now they're a single item. They all move as one. Click out of it, click in. The only way you get them to move would be to ungroup.
Got it.
Anything else?
One person is asking if there's any handouts. There are no handouts or text, but we are recording this, and everybody will be sent a link to the recording. You can watch it as many times as you want. Take screen prints with your phone or whatever is what I would recommend. One person was asking, what about adding GIF, a GIF to a website?
Oh, they're fabulous. I love, and I like GIFs. I like animated GIFs. They, as the recommended usage. If you're going to create text that you would like as an image, GIFs are recommended because their color tonation is not particularly smooth. When you look at a JPEG and you were to have a gradient, see if we can make a quick gradient here. Any gradients? Nope. Be a little hard to make a gradient right now. Okay. Sorry. Bear with me one moment, folks. All right. So now we've got a square here. And I would like to, there we are. Going to make it a gradient. GIFs don't do gradients well. GIFs understand block color. GIFs also understand that there's transparency to the background as opposed to a JPEG. Hang on here. Go to position, layers, and okay. A JPEG could have that kind of tonal background. A GIF, oh, let's move that out of the way. A GIF would be transparent background. So that's another reason for using GIFs on a website. And as I mentioned, EasyGIF is a great place to take something you've got and pull it apart. I've been using Photoshop for years, and in the current version, I really, truly couldn't find an easy way to just go in and strip out my little fellow at the wall there. So EasyGIF worked great. Okay, what else?
All right. How do you get rid of the word Canva in your URL?
Well, you can get rid of Canva in your URL if you go to bit.ly and create a different URL. You can buy a subscription to bit.ly, and you can have a really short one to call your very own, like A.co is the Amazon bit.ly, that they're the only people, I believe, who will be able to have that happen. So you can do it that way. You can go to GoDaddy and buy the domain name that you would like, have the domain name that you own pointer to the Canva URL. This, by the way, is my Canva URL for this particular item. And I would bet you that this word edit goes away at the point that you go to create a public link. What else?
Okay, does Canva have a ADA services? Not sure what that is.
Americans with disabilities? I do not know. That's a really good question. Canva, I will tell you that Canva is built into, or it's a web browser app. Well, it's a web browser on a computer. It's an app on your phone, which is painfully tiny. It's an app on your tablet, which is relatively useful. Um, but as you know from a web browser, if you need to make things larger or smaller, that is something you can control from inside of your web browser, more so than inside of Canva, the app/web page.
Very good. Those are all the questions we have time for today. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar and the materials will be available within the next day or so on our website under on-demand webinars. Our next live webinar is Wednesday, June 19th at noon. The topic is being a virtual assistant for you with Belinda Sandor presenting. Look for the specifics on our website. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling. So please use the link on the screen or visit our website and click Request a Mentor. Also, please fill out the evaluations that you'll be sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's live webinar. In closing today, a big thank you to Bud Freund for presenting today. Thanks again and enjoy the rest of your day.